All right, good morning, Nigeria. You are watching Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. It's a brand new day full of possibility. Welcome to this Tuesday, 19th of August, 2025. I am Samson Balogun.
And I'm Oluwayemi Adelakun. We are here to kick off your morning with uplifting start, essential updates and conversations that matter. We hope your week has been rolling smoothly so far, and we are here to keep that rhythm going.
That's right. Let's set the tone for what's ahead of us today. First up, Daybreak News, your crisp digest of today's top headlines from Nigeria and beyond.
Next, as newspaper headlines and analysis will come through front pages and unpack the stories shaping conversations across the nation. Expert insightful, no fluff analysis.
And then the big story, the cost of governance, jumbo pay for lawmakers and the burden on the economy. We take a deep dive into how Nigeria's governance structure and rising cost of maintaining public office holders impacts national development.
We'll be joined by Barrister Wale Ojoge Daniel, a seasoned public affairs analyst. Together, we explore the weight of governance expenses, the strain on the economy, and what reforms could pave the way for a more accountable system.
Yes, it promises to be a bold and thought-provoking conversation, one that questions priorities and pushes for answers.
And we are not only, going to do that, we are still going to take you through the Trend Watcher, where we give you the buzzing conversations from street sentiment to trending social chatter.
Right, wherever you are, commuting, getting your morning started, or already at work, stay with us on this show.
This is Daybreak Live on Dominion Television, and the journey today is just beginning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Samson.
Good to have you on the show again.
Same here.
Always interesting to be on this desk with you, actually.
Definitely. I think I share the same sentiment.
Yeah, but then there are so many things we can talk about, especially, news broke yesterday that the United States of America says that Nigerians, for a certain visa, must provide 5 years social media, so does it mean that, I at the point, I laughed because,
Okay.
You are looking for a job and say, oh, you must have 5 years experience. And then the United States of America saying you must bring 5 years history of your social media for you to get, visa.
I think it's a very strong one on Nigerians, looking at the fact that some persons are not even on social media.
Right.
And they are interested in maybe escaping, as one of my guys would put it, escaping out of Nigeria. So I think it's a huge one. And also, I think there was a time that a lady, lamented bitterly online to say that, when she got there, when she was trying to plan, travel issues, she said they asked for a social media page and then they checked, and after checking, she was denied. And we've also seen cases whereby, even when you put your social media handles on maybe private, they will ask you to remove it so they can actually check through what you have been posting over time. And I even heard there are some keywords that they are going to check for. Right. And then if you are found guilty of anything that has to do, that can implicate you, or maybe you said something bad. And you know that Nigerians, we are very active on social media, especially Twitter. This global politics that is going on between this, Russia-Ukraine war and then, the president of the United States, trying to settle the whole matter. You need to see how Nigerians comment about those issues online. So I'm scared for a lot of Nigerians, who like to, talk about the global politics. They're even more involved than some Americans, than some Russians. So it's a huge one on Nigerians, and of course it's a sad one because, if you have to ask for such things like that, all other countries, all other Western countries, we don't know what they're going to come up with now. Talk about the UK, talk about, other countries. So it's a very sad one, and I really do not see why the United States wants to do this. But then it's up to them, whatsoever it is, whatsoever policy they want to put in place to ensure that, before you can come to their country, you have to have that 5 years, social media presence so they can check whatsoever it is that you've been posting. But this, should serve as a learning to Nigerians. If at all, you are used to maybe tweeting about, Trump, tweeting about, all other things that have been going on in the global space in terms of their politics, you can just tone it down a little bit. We are not saying you should become a coward, really. There's a way you can comment on issues and then you are not trying to castigate anyone. So I think that's the best way.
You know, sometimes when you drop comments on social media, one just has to be reasonable about it. You know, sometimes I just go through some social media posts and I'm like, this doesn't even concern you. We have other pressing issues to address in Nigeria, and you are all over social media commenting about the United States, commenting about Russia, commenting about Ukraine. I mean, it's not a bad thing to to talk about global politics, but it is more imperative that we focus on what we have here in Nigeria. And talking about what we have here in Nigeria too, there are so many things people type on social media that really might be their own undoing. I'll cite an instance. A friend of mine was to get a position, you know, one of these parastatals, and then one of the directors said, "What's your name?" He mentioned the name again. I said, you are vocal on social media. You are so named on social media. He said, "Yes, I'm sorry, you can't work with us here." You know, was always a critic of the government. You know, there is a way you criticize the government and you still make points. Of course, you have to be constructive about it. But then you don't just drop. You see, yesterday we were talking about how information can be, can be a good thing and can also be a disaster if not passed across the right way.
Definitely.
Talk about the genocide in Rwanda. Then it was just a comment by someone on radio that caused all that. So
and he thought he was doing something good.
He thought he was doing something good. So how much more of a space that is not even regulated, like social media? I mean, we should try as much as possible to, if we said, okay, the government should regulate social media, it will be as if that the government is clamping down on the people and then taking away their freedom of speech.
You know, it happened. There was a time, Twitter was suspended.
Yeah.
I think during the Buhari regime, and then it came back.
It came back.
Yeah.
You know, if that is at that point, it was tempted to be, a dictator. Why would you say, oh, we cannot use Twitter in Nigeria and things like that? But eventually, the ban was lifted. But some people are still doing what they know how to do best, which is to criticize and sometimes, spread information that is not even there. You know, you would imagine someone say, oh, something is happening in Imo State right now, and then you call people in Imo State, oh, what exactly is going on in your area? And they say, what are you talking about? There's nothing like that. You mean? So people are spreading fake rumors, fake information on social media. And I think if we can tone that down, correct that space should be regulated. If you are found to have actually, posted something that is not even real, I think people should be answerable to whatever it is.
That person who posted something about a Mason should be found. The person that started it. Look at what she later did.
They
came back
cloned
to
the social media account in her name and started posting things.
Imagine.
And people were now, it wasn't even just one person. So many people created a dummy account.
And people who don't know how to fact check information, they also went ahead and posted. So another issue is, there was even an issue that, happened recently. I think we discussed that issue right here, talking about the GM that was suspended because of some comments that he made. So it's not like maybe you are saying don't make comment, don't drop your comment, but there's a better way to do it. Honestly,
just find a different way to construct it. That you will be making your point, but at the same time you are not, tarnishing anybody's image. Of course, it will not bounce back on you. We're still talking about comments on social media. I think the government should also look at ways to, one way or the other, say, look, these are the things we should be doing on social media. Look at how some celebrities are being bullied, and some of them even eventually delete their social media accounts because they cannot stand what people are saying to them.
Some enter into depression, chronic depression.
They even go as far as going into their DMs to say things. I mean,
there's a lot.
People take their own lives because of how they are bullied on social media, and nobody is even saying anything about it. These are areas we should look at. As individuals too, we must understand the fact that there are limits to things we do. Now they have requested for 5 years history. Some people don't even have, their whole accounts. So that might even be a problem.
I have friends who don't use, the only thing they use is WhatsApp. It's not like maybe they don't want to use it, but maybe some of them don't really have the time, and some of them are not really interested. Some persons are very private, and so even WhatsApp is just their core friends, that they have on WhatsApp. So what do you make of these people who have interest in traveling outside the country? At the end of the day, it's their country. If they want to put that in place, definitely Nigerians will have to comply.
The policy will be made clearer for people to understand that.
Definitely.
Okay, if you do not have this, provide this, and so many other things will be made clear.
And of course, social media is a leveler. Just like you said, once you have data, you have a good phone. You can can type anything.
Can
But
type
sometimes when you meet those people in person, it becomes difficult to confront them.
You can't even say it. I mean, there's a
becomes
certain
difficult.
slang in town that say, oh, you can say whatever you want. Maybe you are online. Say whatever you
Online
want.
lua.
Online lua. All right, we'll take a break now. And when we return with a weather report on this star, we'll be back after this time out.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live? Like never before. Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
All right, welcome back from that short break. The show is still The Break Live right here on Dominion Television, your channel of choice, where inspiration meets entertainment. Do well to link up with us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. You can also watch us live on our website at www.dominion.org.ng, dominion.org.ng. You can also watch us live on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to that channel, make it go viral at Dominion Broadcast. Now we take weather report on this star, and we're straight to Abuja, the FCT, this morning, and temperature is expected to be around, to be fair, around 84 degrees Celsius by day, and drop to 71 degrees Celsius by night. Of course, the humidity is expected to be around 92%, and dew points should be around 70 degrees Celsius. So if you are in Abuja this morning, the weather report is for you, and of course you can keep your umbrella handy in case there are little showers during the day.
Well, thank you for that. Let's cross over to Ekasi, Kano, Nigeria. And of course, we're expecting about 71 degrees Celsius, humidity around 95%, and pressure around 29.96. And of course, that's what we have. So in case you're around that area, you have it now, so you can plan for your day appropriately.
Okay, now to River State this morning in Port Harcourt. Temperature is expected to be around 69 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy. By day it will be around 83 degrees Celsius, and by night it is expected to drop to 68 degrees Celsius, humidity around 97%, and of course dew point will be around 68 degrees Celsius. And if you are by 8 a.m. it's expected to be cloudy, and later in the day to be partly cloudy until it is night when little showers is expected. So if you are in Port Harcourt, you have to keep your umbrella handy.
All right, thank you. Moving on to Enugu North, Enugu, Nigeria. We're expecting 23 degrees Celsius, and of course humidity around 94%, high or low 30 degrees, and of course let's cross over to what is going to happen in the morning. We're expecting around 26 degrees Celsius. In the afternoon, it's expected to go up around 30 degrees Celsius. In the evening, it will drop again to around 25 degrees Celsius. Overnight, around 23 degrees Celsius. And of course, it's expected to be, partly cloudy, around 9%. Of course, that's what we have for Enugu North, Nigeria this morning.
Okay, we'll go straight. We'll come back to the ancient metropolitan city of hospitality, Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State, this morning. And the weather report is expected to be around 72 degrees Celsius, cloudy. By day, it's expected to be around 85 degrees Celsius, and by night, it's expected to drop to 71 degrees Celsius. Humidity is expected to be around 95%, and dew point is expected to be around 71 degrees Celsius. So if you are in Ibadan, this morning, it will be cloudy, and later in the day, it will be mostly cloudy, and showers might just be there later in the day. So keep your umbrellas handy in case you are in Ibadan this morning.
All right, let's cross over to Suleja, Niger. Weather is expected to be around 23 degrees Celsius, and of course, humidity around 93%, pressure 1016.3, visibility around 9.66, and of course, the wind is expected to be around 3 km per hour, dew point 21%, and of course, the moon phase in a waning crescent. In the morning, we expected to have about 25 degrees Celsius, in the afternoon, about 28 degrees Celsius, and in the evening, it will come down to around 24 degrees Celsius. In the morning, we're expecting, cloudy around 19%, mostly cloudy in the afternoon around 17%, and in the evening, partly cloudy around 21%.
All right, we take this from Osun State this morning. The temperature is expected to be around 29 degrees Celsius. Morning clouds followed by afternoon sun. High between 29 degrees Celsius. Winds are expected to blow towards the south, and of course at around 10 to 15 kilometers per hour. So if you are in Osun this morning, okay, by night it's expected to drop to 21 degrees Celsius. So it's going to be cloudy and very low right there in Osun State this morning.
Let's cross over to Lagos State, Nigeria. Weather is expected to be around 76 degrees Celsius this morning. And of course, humidity around 91%. And of course, let's cross over to the wind around 4, dew point around 73%. And of course, that's what we have for Lagos State, Nigeria this morning. In case you're there, you can plan your day better.
All right, that will be all on Weather Report this morning. Thank you for being a part of the show so far. Keep it locked on this dive. We'll go on a short break, and when we return, we'll take the news. We'll be back.
Ever dreamed of creating the next virus series or telling powerful stories on the big screen? This summer, your passion for TV can become a reality. Our TV Practical Summer Class is calling all future scriptwriters, producers, directors, video editors, reporters, news editors, and on-air personalities. Get hands-on training from industry professionals. Learn to shoot with professional cameras, master editing software, and produce your own content from start to finish. This isn't just a class. It's your launch pad. Don't just watch TV. Make it. Enroll now. Spaces are limited. Visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng or call the number 0706 777 9435 0706 777 9435. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Good morning. This is Daybreak News on Dominion Television. I am Oluwayemi Adelakun. The United States Mission in Nigeria has issued a directive to visa applicants mandating the disclosure of all social media usernames and handles used over the past 5 years as part of the visa application process. The directive announced In the post on the mission's official X account comes as the United States Department of State recently reiterated its commitment to bolster national security through enhanced screening measures. The United States mission has said that Nigerian visa applicants are required to provide a comprehensive list of their social media profiles on the DS-160 visa application form. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has inaugurated a special committee to investigate cases of technology-driven malpractice detected during the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. Inaugurating the 23-member Special Committee on Examination Infraction in Abuja, JAMB's Registrar, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, decried the rising sophistication of exam fraud, revealing that the result of over 6,000 candidates remain under investigation for alleged involvement in high-tech cheating. Oloyede stated that this year they experienced several strengthenings and concluded that it would be better if they expand the resources. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has recorded over 26,000 visits to its continuous voter registration portal just hours after the nationwide exercise commenced. According to the Commission, via its official X handle, it's on the continuous voter registration portal climbed to 26,000 on the first day of the launch. Announcing the launch, INEC stated that in-person registration will take place at all its 37 state offices and local government area offices nationwide to ensure easy access for prospective voters. Former Governor of Oyo State and Olubadan-elect Rashidi Ladoja has arrived in Ibadan. It was gathered that the former senator was received by supporters at the Ibadan end of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway and led to the Isaleosi family house. The return of the former governor has been anticipated by many residents and indigents for weeks. Experts have advised media practitioners in Nigeria not to rely solely on artificial intelligence for content creation, emphasizing that fact-checking is essential for credible journalism. This guidance was shared during a capacity-building session held at Dominion Broadcast Group, where participants highlighted the importance of incorporating the human element of verification and professional judgment, even when utilizing AI tools for research and production. Aino Grace reports. In business, the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission has announced the commencement of the process for review of the revenue allocation formula between the federal, state and local government. The chairman of the RMAFC, Mohamed Shehu, who announced these at a news conference in Abuja, noted that the review became necessary following current economic realities since the last review in 1992. According to Shehu, the review aimed to produce a fair, just and equitable revenue sharing formula that reflects the current responsibilities and capacities of the 3 tiers of government in line with the constitutional rules. In sports, 20 teams are set to compete in the 2025-2026 Nigeria Premier Football League NPFL season, scheduled to kick off August 22nd, 2025. The season marking the 54th edition of Nigeria's top-flight football league and the 36th since its professionalization promises an exciting campaign under its current branding. The 2025-2026 NPFL will kick off with the opening match between defending champions Remo Stars FC and Rivers United FC, which will commence at 4 p.m. in Remo Stars Stadium on Friday. You can visit our website in www.dominion.org.ng to watch us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across the social media platforms Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast and X at Dominioncast. That's the break news. I am Oluwayemi Adelakun saying thank you for watching and good morning.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
All right, so welcome you back. Thank you for staying with us. This is Newspaper Headlines Analysis. My name is Oluwayemi Adelakun. This morning we have quite a number of headlines. However, let's start from Salient Times. And I have this banner headline that says, New U.S. visa rule, Nigerians must provide 5 years social media history. And of course, a lot of Nigerians have, commented to say that really we are supposed to have, 5 years social media presence before we can be allowed to travel, because a lot of Nigerians, are not even online. We also have Nigerians who are very active online, talk about Instagram, IG, talk about TikTok, talk about Twitter. However, we still have some Nigerians who do not really fancy, being online or maybe trying to be active on social media. We'll look out to how this is going to play out, and of course, we wish Nigerians who are planning on traveling out of the country well. Away from that headline, let's talk about this one that says, you have no right to confer or Kolomo chieftaincy title. Alaafin tackles Oni of Ife, tells him to reverse conferment in 48 hours or face consequences. Reading the story, a lot of things, are going through my mind to say that how did they come to this point? They used to be cordial, so we do not really know what the bone of contention is. However, he's saying, okay, you are not allowed to, to actually confer this chieftaincy title on that person who is a businessman. This person we are talking about is a businessman. Reading the story, the Alaafin is saying he's the only one that has the right to confer such chieftaincy title that has to do with the entire Yoruba land on anyone. And Oni of Ife has no right whatsoever, and he's giving him 48 hours to reverse that chieftaincy title. Will Oni of Ife listen to this? Is he going to reverse the chieftaincy title or not? And after 48 hours, should he not reverse it? What should we expect? It's one of the talking points this morning. By the time I have my analysts on board, we want to look at the issues, in terms of, superiority. Who's really superior? Does Oni of Ife have the right to confer this title or not? And is Alaafin of Oyo, is it right to say that, I'm giving you 48 hours to actually, reverse this or not? Look out for what is going to happen after this whole issue. Away from that story, let's also check this one that says, paternity fraud, 1 in 4 Nigerian fathers not biological parent. Honestly, this has been a huge issue that even some fathers no longer trust their wife in terms of, am I really the owner of these children? There's a report on that, and of course, is an issue that has been going on for now, not just in Nigeria, I think across the world. Let's also check this headline that says 6,458 admission seekers risk sanctions as JAMB begins probe. And of course, reading the story yesterday through this morning, it was said that quite a number of students are involved in some practices that are not quite good, and about 6,458 persons have been caught, and they've done their research on these people. And of course, we look at for how this is going to play out at the end of the day. I mean, we shouldn't have issues like this, because at the end of the day, you'll be asked to prove yourself what you have been able to do, by the time, even if you get admission into the university or the polytechnic, at the end of the day, if you know that you bought your way through to enter the school, it will reflect, at one point or the other in your lifetime. Away from that story, let's also check this one that says NAPTIP rescues 25 women from trafficking syndicate in Abuja, targets travel agencies. Honestly, is a good one, looking at the fact that these women were rescued, from being taken to where they were not supposed to go to. We look out for how, they are going to tackle more of these people, because I believe that apart from this, we also have cases of some persons who even have maybe support of some top agencies, and that's why they're able to carry out all such acts as this one. Away from that story, let's also check this one that says man starves his girlfriend to death in Rivers State over alleged cheating. Another headline is saying Tinubu arrives in Japan for Tokyo International Conference. Don't forget, around last week, the former presidential candidate of Labour Party, Peter Obi, said that, why is the president, leaving the country every now and then when Nigeria is bleeding? I mean, that was a line that he used. He said Nigeria is bleeding and the president, is just traveling here and there. He also mentioned the fact that, he just arrived from Brazil not quite long, and of course, he's going to Japan now, for this international conference. However, that has been defended by, the presidency, to say that the president is going there to do quite a number of things that will benefit Nigeria as a country, and not just going there for frivolities or just to travel for traveling's sake. However, away from that headline, that paper, let's cross over to Daily Global. I have this headline that says, Falana to APC, PDP, prove you are not terrorist groups. There was a story before this particular one where we were able to read that a Canadian court, not just a court, the federal courts in Canada, said that APC and PDP are terrorist groups. So Falana is coming out to say that, APC and PDP, instead of, insulting this Canadian court or other persons that are associated with this situation, why don't you try to prove yourselves that you are not terrorist group? And you can do this by actually taking the matter to court and then sue these people if need be. So instead of actually coming on social media to insult, the Canadian court or the judge that said this, there are better ways to do these things. Why can't you sue these people, take legal action so that it will not affect Nigerians who are planning to go to this country or people who are already in the country, and then by the time they check their records and they see that they have some relationship with the PDP or APC, it might lead to something, that is not quite good. Away from the story, let's also check this headline that says, our market Ononuga mocks ADC leaders after by-election. That's talking about Bayo Ononuga. Honestly, because APC was able to take over, the larger parts of the seat, talking about the by-elections across the country, this person, Ononuga, is coming out to say that, ADC, our market, initially, a lot of Nigerians are saying ADC intentionally might not have the mindset of winning this election, maybe just to test the waters to see how strong they are in some parts of the country. And the election, held, at different, states in the country, in Oyo State, in Anambra, in Kano, in Kaduna, in Edo, and of course, APC won, most of this election. Abga won in Anambra, and of course, even in Edo under Pebolo, APC also won that election. In Kano, NNPP won the election, even though some persons are saying, Kano used to be a stronghold of the APC. Maybe, NNPP won because of the influence of Musa Rabiu Kwankwaso. Away from that, let's also check another headline that says, why Jonathan should not contest in 2027. That's coming from Shehu Sani. Let's not forget that yesterday we talked about the fact that, a northern group would have come up with a tag to say, bring back our good luck, to say that they want Goodluck Jonathan to contest, for the 2027 2007 presidential elections, not looking at the fact that there was a time that they said to him that he was sponsoring Boko Haram. They said a lot of things about him, stage protests across the northern part of the country. And of course, Shehu Sani now, someone we know who will always come and speak on matters like this, is saying that Jonathan should not even try to contest for that election, looking at some of the things that he went through during that time. All right, this is where we say we'll take a short break, and when we come back, my analysts will come on board so that we can make sense of some of the major stories that we had this morning. Please stay with us.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
All right, I welcome you back. This is still Newspaper Headlines Analysis, and of course, I'm not alone in the studio. I have with me Temitope Eshola, a historian and public affairs analyst, and of course, Victor Akile, a political scientist, and of course, a public affairs analyst. Welcome on board.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning. All right, let's start from this headline, from Salient Times that says, you have no right to confer Okolomo chieftaincy title. Alaafin tackles Ooni of Ife, tells him to reverse conferment in 48 hours or face consequences. These people, I don't think there was any issue between them before now. So why is this issue of, okay, why did you confer this title on this person, causing a serious matter in the political sphere? And a lot of persons are saying it appears this is political because, I mean, they are both monarchs. I mean, why can't they settle this matter amicably? Why is Alaafin of Oyo giving him 48 hours to reverse this title? Don't also forget, Alaafin of Oyo also mentioned the fact that, he's the only one that has the right to confer such title that has to do with the entire Yoruba land on anyone. Let me start for Victor.
Yeah, that's true. Only the Alaafin of Oyo has that authority to do that according to Constitution. So it was right saying that. And I don't think they need to fight. They just need to, what is tradition saying about this? What is Constitution saying about this? Let's go by that. Alaafin is right. So let's let the needful be done.
What about the 38 hours in the ultimatum? You don't think that is extreme?
Let the right thing be done. If that is the right thing, then let it be done.
Okay.
Okay, so from I read about this and I saw that it was stated clearly that when this man, the Oni, came to, when he was coronated,
Okay.
he had, his jurisdiction was over Ife South, Ife North, and Ife Central. That's all. So whatever he does outside these three places I mentioned means he has gone, what's the word now?
Okay.
He
Has
has
exceeded
gone,
his,
yes, he has exceeded
boundaries.
his jurisdiction.
Okay.
So, if that is true, then 48 hours, if I 40, for me, I think 48 hours is even too much.
Wow.
Yes.
Let me turn to Temitope. What's your opinion?
I think communication here is key.
Okay.
Because I feel this is a conversation that could have been had behind closed doors. And I don't know if it was a conversation that was being had behind closed doors that the media got wind of and decided to make public. But I feel it's a bit extreme to issue or give ultimatums. Because whether we like it or not, the two monarchs are regarded as grade A monarchs. There is none that is bigger than the other in the eyes of the law, basically. Yeah, maybe culture-wise, history-wise, tradition-wise, we might want to get a balance around it, but they are still both recognized as being equals. That's why you see that when they are on panels, on committees, on association groups, I mean, when it regards to the monarchs, they're all like co-heads of those platforms, not that they elevate one over the other. So I believe it's a conversation that could have been had. Proud before now, I don't think a lot of us had paid attention to the titles and the likes. But if at all there's any reason why one has gone over, exceeded its boundaries, I believe there's a way that there are certain internal mechanisms that allows them to do so. Because I, for one, I do not like the fact that two highly respected monarchs in the Yoruba land have to go head-to-head on the pages of newspaper, on the medias. And I think that's where I have issues. So it's always normal for people to have problems. It's just human nature. But I just feel that they could have better handled this than it's coming out in the public.
All right, I think that's a fine place to leave that matter. Let's talk about another issue on Daily Global that says, Falana to APC, PDP, prove you are not terrorist groups. Because, about a few days ago, a Canadian court said, APC and PDP, you are terrorist groups because they've also denied asylum to a member of the PDP who used to be a member of the PDP. And this is not good for Nigerians because a lot of Nigerians, have connection to these parties. And should they, go over there, or even the ones that are there currently, it's not good for us. Falana is saying, instead of insulting this, Canadian court, why can't you take this matter to court? Is that the best option? Victor?
Law has a stand in everything. Falana is a lawyer. So if he says, let's go to court, then I feel that's smart. However, they should prove themselves too. I mean, there are a lot, okay, like I always say, problems don't just arise. I mean, when problem arises, we don't know. We only see the outcome of it. So there will be a lot of things on the ground that we do not have access to or we do not have information about. However, for Falana to have said, let's go to court, then let's go to court, they should prove themselves better. If court is where we can resolve this matter, let's go there. And if we can dialogue to settle this matter, let's dialogue. Those two parties have done too, they've lived too long to disappoint people. You get what I'm trying to say? They've lived to we virtually do not have any other strong political party than these two. So we expect better from them, so they should do better.
Okay, Temitope, what are some of the effects of these on Nigerians? Because, I mean, we've talked about the fact that, this might affect a lot of Nigerians, but apart from that, what are some of the effects? Because Falana also mentioned the fact that even during the election, the likes of Tinubu said some words to say, okay, take it, run with it, and some of these things might have been, misinterpreted by these bodies.
No, it wasn't misinterpreted. Like I said the other time I was here, the world and a lot of us went to school. The political class make it look like they are dealing with illiterates. We understand basic letters of sentences, what it connotes, critical reasoning, but these other people try to just set them aside. The first day I saw the news, I said, very true. We've been terrorized by the political class for long. It's not until you carry bomb and blow up places that you're a terrorist. How has their policies alleviated the pains of the people? How have they handled the insecurity issues in Nigeria? If you go deeper, I don't have a problem with them. And for me, the Canadian court did not just come out of the blues to designate Nigeria and the Nigerian top political parties as terrorists. It was on the premise of certain guidelines and rules that are written like statutes in the Canadian Constitution as to people that fall within that category. So they, by interpretation of their own law, looked at it and said, okay, based off what they have seen and perceived of the APC and the PDP, that they fell in line along that classification. So basically, that's why they did. So they didn't deny Nigerians access to Canada. They basically just denied politicians from that organization, which is the APC and the PDP.
Well, a lot of Nigerians have, connections with these two parties.
Voting for the party does not make you a terrorist.
No, apart from voting for the party, we have a lot of politicians.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So I think for us moving forward, the Nigerian political system and the political class have need to reorientate themselves about the essence of what politics is. Like I tell people, politics is a tool or a vehicle for societal change. You use it as a platform to do the people good, to help elevate the pains of the people, not to satisfy your own personal greed and the likes.
So can we take the matter to court now, according to Falana?
So they should go to, me, I feel it's a waste of time.
Really?
And of national resources.
But we need to clear our name.
And there are diplomatic ways to do that, not going to court.
Well, like I said, if we need to go to court, let us go. But if we can dialogue, then let's dialogue.
I believe,
calling for dialogue sometimes, we Nigerians, we answer the call.
The first thing is our foreign policy, foreign system, foreign approach from the home front is questionable also in many ways. When you look at how our embassies are being managed out there, how Nigerians are being treated out there. If they didn't call the federal government or the APC or the PDP terrorist organization, they will keep quiet. But let Nigerians be suffering outside the country, having issues with embassies, having issues with the laws over there. They suddenly keep quiet over it. It's because this is affecting them. That's why they are making the noise. So that's why I still say that there are ways they can go around it, which is basically diplomacy. They have the channels. You have an ambassador to Canada. Have a conversation with such persons. Then if there's now, at that level, if there's now need for them to calm down, to say, okay, yes, whether there's explicit recognition from the government that they are not terrorist organization, then they'll look at how they will do it. Because most times when you designate people as terrorists, most times it comes from an agency or an office within the presidency of those countries, within the executives. So, but this case is the judiciary, and I believe that they can still find you. And just like Falana said, because he knows better when it comes to the law, going to court, I just feel like there are a lot of resources that will be expended into all of those things and can take long and the likes. And even if they went to court, how does Nigeria want to even exonerate themselves? Because there are a lot of things to be meted out. Is it election vote buying? Is it election rigging, violence in election? Is it public statements that they've made about winner takes it all?
I feel like if you don't talk about this issue, it might not be necessarily taking the matter to court. I mean, it will come back to haunt us in the future. I mean, because, receipts will be there online to say, okay, this happened, and then the presidency, did nothing about the whole matter.
Truthfully, it's a bad look on the country. For its top political parties to be designated terrorist organizations. It is a very bad look. So I can get and understand why the optics is bad and the government needs to do something about it. So I won't say they should fold their hands and just ignore it, but I'm just looking at, okay, what are the proper channels to go around this to ensure that we are not wasting resources in the wrong direction. So I'm of the view that diplomacy, which is initiate conversations with the executive of the other country, and have a conversation along it. And if you now realize that, okay, that is not realistic and it has to be the court way, then go to court. We have very sound legal minds in Nigeria that can do justice.
I think it's a good place to leave that. I just hope they find a way to settle the whole matter. Let's talk about this headline on Daily Global that says, How Market Ononuga mocks ADC leaders after by-election. And I read the story. Apart from Ononuga, we also had likes of Charles Saludo saying that, talking about Peter Obi, especially and Labour Party. But let's deal with Ononuga first. APC won most of the election. Let me start with you, Akile. And this was like an opportunity for ADC to actually test, how strong they are in this part or in several states where the election had. How do you think ADC has what it takes to take over from APC? Because they've said a lot. We are coming to take over from APC, and they could not win. Just one. Not even one. seat, you know, looking at all the elections. So, I don't know why you're laughing, but I'd love you to speak on the matter.
So the question is, can they take over? The answer is capital no. Obviously.
We still have 2 years, though.
My sister, there's nothing. See, I've always said it. Politics is a game of number. Politics can be predicted. It is calculation. This is for me, this is a test run for you. You could not deliver it. Just House of Assembly, one, and you want to take over the presidency of a nation, but you have not produced one House of Assembly member. You are a joke. ADC is not ready to take over Nigeria from APC. They are not ready.
Okay. Let me turn to you, because let's talk about not Onanuga now. Let's talk about Charles Soludo. He also said something about Peter Obi that regardless of the support and all of his tactics and strategies, he still could not beat him in Anambra because Abga won. And then they are saying that this man he has supporters. It doesn't matter whoever he endorses will definitely have high vote really.
Okay, so I'll take it from this place. This election that happened over the weekend is not a true test of what is to come in 2027. And why do I say this? INEC announced the procedure and the modalities for the last by-election just a month before the elections itself, of which 1 month after it, 1 week after the announcement, primaries was to take place for 1 week, and the whole processes, and the election campaign up until the election day was just 2 weeks. So there was no time for people to pull in their resources. So the only persons that are much more stronger and positioned for an election of that magnitude is definitely the sitting, what do they call it? The government of the day. Because they have the ample resources. You already have your base mobilized. You have, like I gave an example yesterday, PDP, for instance, in Oyo State, had begun campaigning for more than 2 to 3 months ago. They know they were going for a by-election, but they don't know who the candidate is yet. But they've mobilized the House. So irrespective of whoever we bring forward, at least PDP is going into this election. So everybody was mobilized to deliver it. But other parties don't have that resources to do that. As much as even do a campaign, even for a general election, 3 months is nothing to you. You can't do anything.
How do you measure the resources of political
Let me
parties?
even say this.
So how do you measure this?
When is it done?
How you measure resources of political parties? At least I'm a bit involved in the last 8 years across 4 to 3 different political parties, both the small and the mega parties. What runs parties are money, basically. Whether you want to bring out your members to come out to vote, whether you want to do vote buying, whether you want to, like there's something they call about, is it fueling your base, like funding your base so that they come out en masse for rallies, for posters, and you did see all of that. A good number of the people across the other political divide that were contesting were basically the average young individuals that have mind just to contest.
So if you say ADC does not have the resources to conduct just by-elections.
No, I said the timing. Timing.
Okay, forget
the
about timing now.
Let me say this, Yemi.
Okay.
Let me say this, Yemi. These offices that would be filled up have been vacant for how long? Some 6 months, some 1 year.
In Ibadan, for instance, in
Ibadan,
that candidate or the person who used to sit in that position died last year, July.
So over a year.
Yeah.
If you are ambitious for a position, once you see an opportunity, even if, are you getting me? If you are ambitious for a position, once you see an opportunity, what do you do as an ambitious person? You start pulling every string possible. You start running, you start fighting, fighting in the sense that positive fight, right? You start canvassing for yourself and doing all those. A political party that knows that she wants to get into the public space and has seen an opportunity, should that party not up their game? I agree with you saying there are no resources and all that, but I feel it is, for me, any political party that I don't even know how to best explain myself, but this is a place for you to, this is a very good ground to show what you carry. You are a Labour Party, you could not provide a House of Assembly member, ZLP, what that is, Zenith Labour. Okay. Let's even leave that one. ADC, that you said you want to come and collect Nigeria from sitting, you cannot, and you are now saying you do not have the resources. You are a joke. Whether you have resources, whether the time is not favorable, or you do not have resources, or whatever your excuse might be, you are a joke. Like I said earlier, there has been time, at least 6 months, you know that there's a vacancy. If you apply for a job normally outside political space, you are vying for a job, and you know that that place, there's a vacancy there. Will you not keep sending your CV there? Will you not keep calling someone in there if there's a contact person there? Will you not keep sending mails to that organization till they finally call you for an interview? You'll be consistent at it because you are ambitious. So if a political party now says, I don't have there's no time for us to plan, there's no time for us to campaign, there's no time for us to, you are a joke. Or you say, we don't have money to campaign, we don't have money to, you are a joke. In this, across the nation, there are parties that the ruling party didn't win some seats. I hope you know that.
Yeah.
I think in Plateau State, apart from the senatorial district that was won, I think the assembly was won by another party. I can mention about 2 or 3. I can't really pick. I can't remember very well. But there are other states that the ruling party of the state didn't win the election. So what do we see about that? If you are saying it is, for instance, now your state, if you are saying because PDP is the ruling party, that's why PDP had a chance to win the
But
house.
that helps, you know.
It helps.
Because in Ibadan, it helped in Ibadan.
Yes, I
Even
agree.
in Edo,
Hold on. I
okay.
agree. In Edo, yes. In Kano, yes.
Yes.
In Aldambra, yes.
Yes.
Okay, what do we now say to states that it didn't help? Oh, you answer
Well,
that?
if you look at the percentage, I think
It's
you know.
more.
I think we have
over time-
state whereby the sitting governor or the sitting government, you know, helped
So
win the election.
over time itself, those scenarios that are outliers are largely because either those individuals are popular enough, have the resources enough, or might even have been in the ruling party and left because they didn't give them the ticket there and ran under another platform.
Okay,
So they're
you said
popular.
something about the ADCs that they didn't have resources and then the time. I feel like, you know, for a party that has, we've heard about, you know, the coalition adopting ADC is up to like 2 months now. I mean, and of course they must be aware of these, you know, by-elections that will come up, you know, at a particular time. You know, why did they not plan for it? We have the big shot in ADC.
So this is how I look at
So
it.
why are they complaining of
So
resources?
this is how I look at things.
If this is complaining of
There's
resources,
resources.
they better not come out in 2027
So this is
at
how
all.
I look at things, because I like taking issues by themselves. I don't like overlaying a lot of things. So looking at this election is a case of strategy also. For optics, everybody wants to pour their resources in and win. But the reality of it is that based on the timing, how many months ago or weeks ago did the coalition announced themselves? There hasn't been any clear-cut harmonizing maybe convention or the likes for them to even select leaders or to know who is who. So it's still the existing infrastructure or before they came into the party, where the changes are largely, it's just at the top.
But it's an existing party. ADC has been in Nigeria for a while.
But it's still regarded as a small party when you compare it to APC and PDP.
So if they regard you as a small party, is it not your duty to make sure that, you know,
That's
you
why I
give the
said
votes?
something earlier. I said the timing. See, the federal government, the APC are the ones in control of INEC. It's just the same way in the home front. The ruling party controls the state electoral. That's from not the INEC version of it, but the state-owned electoral council. When you want to do their council elections, local government elections, they are the ones that know when the time is, and they play around it. So they don't give others the time to even prepare to come in. So for me, the timing is too short. If it's by the law, these elections that were held now, for some of, especially in Oyo State, should have been held last year, at least 6 months after the death of the former occupant. It should have been, but a year after, and up until, as at the ending of December, when I was following up on it, the impression was that January 18 was going to be the election of this year. From January 18, see how it has gone on. So no one even knew how to prepare, because like I said, politics is resources. Whether we like it or not, whether we want to admit it or not, on the local level, the states or the parties or the individuals that can actively contest impromptu elections in the manner at which this was conducted are those that have the resources.
Okay.
Even PDP themselves, it's just that because I've not had verified information, that's why I don't want to quote some of the figures I heard, that certain political office holders within the party and appointees were directed to contribute for the election of the candidate that won the election just over the weekend. APC did not have that resources. Other people did not have that. This even Aspire, even the sitting government. more than 100 million went into the election just within 2 weeks. How many young persons that put themselves forward to contest? Do you know what it even takes to even go out and campaign?
Okay.
So looking at all of those issues, so I don't like us just speaking things abstractly. I always like us looking at it in-depthly and say, okay, one for one, word for word, candidate for candidate, party for party. That's why I keep maintaining the timing is wrong. But going into a general election where you have the time to have your elective convention that trickles down to ensure that you have the same type of leadership and focus and mindset from the top to the bottom, then you can properly plan.
Okay, I think I understand you, but I still think this was a good shot. I mean, for not just the
it's
ADC,
a good test for them to also know what their strength is.
Definitely,
but it's not a definite
of course, we cannot generalize to say.
Add is it's obvious that these parties, they do not have grassroots politics. They are not strong from the grassroots level. That is obviously we can see that again.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
So that we don't even forget, the major players in ADC are fully not even moved their resources into it because this election made it clear.
Okay.
For instance, Peter Obi, for instance, because Labour Party had issues with INEC not announcing their candidate, he encouraged them to move to the ADC and supported them. Other strongmen across the political divide did the same thing. So I see a scenario whereby most of these guys are holding onto their base, like, southeast, southwest, northeast, northeast. I've not really seen all of them bring all their resources in one single direction.
Which is a good advantage.
Let's talk on
focusing on the presidency alone.
Okay, but Victor, in 1 minute, do you think, okay, maybe because the Labour Party didn't have a candidate or maybe candidates in this area because of the factions within the Labour Party, that was why, they could not really do something. What if, in the state, nationwide, the Labour Party didn't have candidate at all? What if there was no faction and then the Labour Party president candidate? Do you think it would have been a bit tough? I mean, in this election,
it depends on the states. Say Oyo State, it won't be tough. Say Edo State, it might not be tough.
Okay.
Maybe in Anambra, maybe that's the state. You get what I'm trying to say? Maybe in some eastern states, maybe, but here in Oyo State, it won't. Edo, it won't. In just Plateau State, it won't.
Okay. It's a fine place to leave it, but the conversation will definitely continue. And we'll come back to this matter because, he thinks, we cannot use this election to measure the capacity of the ADC. A big thanks to you for joining this conversation, Temitope Eshola, and of course, Victor Akinleye. Thank you for joining the program this morning. This is a fine place to leave it this morning. Please do well to join us, of course, tomorrow. And of course, please do not leave yet. A big story will come up soon. My name is Oluwayemi Adelakwa. I'm saying good morning.
Ever dreamed of creating the next virus series or telling powerful stories on the big screen? This summer, your passion for TV can become a reality. Our TV Practical Summer Class is calling all future scriptwriters, producers, directors, video editors, reporters, news editors, and on-air personalities. Get hands-on training from industry professionals. Learn to shoot with professional cameras, master editing software, and produce your own content from start to finish. This isn't just a class. It's your launch pad. Don't just watch TV. Make it. Enroll now. Spaces are limited. Visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng or call the number 0706 777 9435 0706 777 9435. Dominion Television, your channel of choice. Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live? Like never before, book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Welcome back from that short break. It is time for the big story on Daybreak Live. Today we shine the spotlight on a question that refuses to go away. The cost of governance, jumbo pay for lawmakers, and the burden on the economy. Nigeria is often described as a country rich in resources, but poor in results. At the center of this paradox lies governance, and one of the most debated aspects is the pay structure of our lawmakers. While millions of Nigerians struggle daily with the high cost of living, rising inflation, and dwindling infrastructure, the conversation about whether lawmakers earn too much at the expense of the nation continues to dominate public discourse. Good morning once again. Samson Balogun is my name, and thank you for tuning in. Let's place this in context. The debate around jumbo pay for lawmakers is not new. Back in 2003, shortly after the return of civil rule, reports began surfacing about lawmakers receiving allowances that far outweighed the country's minimum wage of just 7,500 naira at the time. By 2010, following the UDOG reforms and the subsequent adjustments, lawmakers' salaries and allowances had ballooned. Senators were said to be earning over 15 million quarterly, sparking outrage. In 2015, the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, RMAFC, attempted to review and reduce these packages, but strong resistance from the National Assembly stalled the process. Fast forward to 2018 and 2019, controversies resurfaced when Senator Shehu Sani revealed that senators were taking home about 13.5 million naira monthly in running costs, excluding salaries and other perks. And just recently, in 2023, at the dawn of the 10th National Assembly, revelations about huge furniture allowances and welcome packages once again triggered public anger, especially given Nigeria's mounting debt profile and poverty statistics. All these paint a clear picture, while wages for civil servants and the private sector have either stagnated or inched up slowly. Lawmakers' packages continue to rise, creating what many Nigerians see as a widening gap between leaders and the led. So today, we ask, is this sustainable? What is the real cost of governance in Nigeria, and can Nigeria truly afford it? Of course, to help us dissect this morning, I'm going to be having two guests. Oluwaseun Oluwole will be joining me online, while Barrister Ojogoye Daniel will be here shortly. He's a seasoned public affairs analyst, and together we'll be making sense of these Mongol salaries being paid to the lawmakers in Nigeria at the expense of Nigerians. Now, let's take a critical look at the framework in Nigeria. We're talking about lawmakers. The guys paid so much, a humongous amount of money, that even it has become an occultic segment where average Nigerians don't even know how much lawmakers earn. Ask them these questions. They will never be able to tell you exactly how much they earn. They will rather tell you this is our basic salary. But how about other emoluments, other take-homes, welcome packages, some other perks? How about the privileges of nominations into appointments? Of course, employment also comes with this. When you see openings at federal parastatals, they get to nominate and of course put individuals forward for these positions. And if we want to reduce salaries of lawmakers in Nigeria, who exactly is going to put that forward? And of course, who is going to review it? It is still going to end on the floor of the House of Representatives, the Senate. They are still going to deliberate on their own salaries. And how exactly are we going to get this right in the country? I have online Oluwole Oluwaseun. Together, we'll be making sense of this. Oluwole Oluwaseun, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Sampson. Good morning, Sampson.
Good to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Nigeria has long battled with issue of high governance cost. From your perspective, what has jumbo pay for lawmakers remained? Why has it remained such a persistent debate that is as refused to live?
Okay. Good morning. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Hello, yeah, good morning.
Yes.
Now, over the years, this has always stirred up serious conversation and issues among me, myself and my colleagues and people in every corner of society. But what I can actually say is that too much attention and too much priority has been given to governance when it comes to the cost of running of governance. We tend to put so many people into some positions that are not even called for. Then we start paying huge amount of money, not now putting into consideration how you have to keep up the cost of all these positions and everything. The running of the how do I say it now? All these departments and power status. Now, take a look deeply at the common man and the issue of salaries concerning the private sector and the public sector. Nothing is being done. But year in, year out, by the 11th Assembly or whatever is coming, we will have to raise. I don't know how quickly we do that. We will have to raise salaries of our lawmakers, give them huge bonuses, assign different kinds of privileges to them, while the common man out on the street is being thrown to the cold concerning wages. Concerning wages, and it is just not fair on the common man that lawmakers, whenever they come into the assembly, whenever they are elected, the first thing they do is to blow up their own revenue allocation or whatever, or their own huge bonus that has a huge package deal that is already huge. Not even putting into consideration the common man, whether the minimum wage is okay. You spend much time dealing whether to raise minimum wage for the common man. But under community power, whether under a month or two, you raise yours to a huge amount of money coming into your pockets. Now, that goes to the question, do they actually look out for the common man? So that is a no-no. That is a no-no. And I think we have to be sincere with ourselves. It is a very annoying issue. It is a very annoying issue.
Okay.
It is annoying. And it's not going well on the cost of keeping even the common man and his hopes alive. That is my take.
All right, Seun Oluwole, looking at our history, 2003, 2010, 2015, and even 2023, there have been repeated controversies over lawmakers' salaries and allowances. Now, why has reform become so difficult in Nigeria? Why is it so difficult to make reforms? To put them, to give them salaries that Nigerians will be okay with, that will not stir controversies?
See, let us just put it, let me just phrase it this way. It is just sheer, how do I say it now? That is selfishness, gross selfishness on their part. If they can't come together, or in a year, review the minimum wage of Nigerians to a respected level and to put it into law and pass down, and even for states to make sure that states and state governors pay so much to their workers. It wouldn't be a controversy. Okay. Their own pay wouldn't be a controversy. But right here, right now, we see them having problems in coming together to put together a very meaningful minimum wage for Nigerians. And even when it is done, even some of our governors go to the extent that they will tell you they can't afford to pay. And now you ask them, what are you doing with your allocation? What are you doing with your IGR, internal generated revenue? Why can't you pay just additional? What is the percentage of the amount that you are adding to civil servants, to civil workers, in private sectors and in public sectors? How much is that? Not even much to what we have. You people are allocated to yourself. So today is just selfishness.
Right.
Selfishness and the lack of human empathy. Lack of human empathy. And you need to call it bamu bamu ni moyo yo. That is just their attitude. The moment they get there and they started making the money for themselves, they are collecting, they are looking good, they are looking robust and everything. They don't care how long it's going to take for them to put into consideration a meaningful minimum wage for the common man. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So I just see that sheer greed, selfishness, and lack of human empathy.
All right.
That's just it.
Many Nigerians, Seun Oluwole, many Nigerians feel the earnings of lawmakers are out of touch with economic realities of ordinary citizens. How accurate is that sentiment when we compare figures? Now, again, beyond salaries, allowances like wardrobe, furniture, and running costs often stir public anger. Are these justifiable in any sense, or should they be scrapped altogether?
Now, when you're talking about furniture allocation, see, the next assembly, whether it's the 11th or the 12th or the 11th, whenever that one comes into play again, you allocate another set of furniture. Where are the other ones? Where did they go to? Now, this thing is wrong. It's wrong when you say that, okay, the ones that are there, does that mean when the lawmaker is going, he pass such furniture, he passes it out of the office and moves to his house? Why always allocating all these things, furniture allowance? What furniture allowance? Where do you do that? And how do you do that? That is what I say. It is still lack of human empathy. When you take a look at, it is not even an outcry. It's not an outcry. We know what has been done, how much they allocate all these currency, all these monies, all these figures to themselves, when it is still hard for you to keep up, the interest of a primary school teacher or a secondary public school teacher. Do you understand? What happens to them? Do you give them such allowance, okay, furniture allowance, clothing allowance, even chalk allowance, give them marker allowance? Do you do that? If it were to be a lawmaker handling the chalk or a marker, he will collect it, he or she will collect it. They will allocate it. So whatever it is that they can allocate, they do. They do. So they pass such bills, allocate such money and such funding, and today is a good day. It's a good day to them. But it doesn't matter to them how we feel, how the general man feels, how the greater man out there, how they feel. It is not an outcry. It is what we know. It is what Nigerians know. And such should not be encouraged anymore. Such a thing, such act, I think if they can stop it, it should be stopped. But it needs to be kept in the board. Just focus on the salary or the allowance. What about this? It doesn't make sense when you're saying furniture allowance and everything allowance. The furniture that are there, are they not good enough? Then ensure that the ones you are going to have are good enough. Stop wasting the public offers. Stop going to offers just to print that money.
Now,
that is why.
Shewoluwole.
Yeah. Okay, hello.
Okay, some argue that lawmakers need higher pay to resist corruption. Do you agree? Or does it create a new form of legalized corruption?
It is. It is. It is. They don't see it that way. They don't see it that way. They believe they earn their right to that position. They work their way to that position. It is a must for them to actually earn such an amount. While most of them, in their constituencies and everything, they have not done anything. They are doing nothing. They are doing nothing to empower people in their constituencies. They don't.
Okay. Shewoluwole.
Many of them actually empower their constituents.
Okay.
Just few of them. And they are receiving such allowances.
All right, Shewoluwole, please hold your thoughts a little bit. Let's go on a short break. When we return, the show continues. This is still the big story on Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television. We'll be back after this time out.
Ever dreamed of creating the next virus series or telling powerful stories on the big screen? This summer, your passion for TV can become a reality. Our TV Practical Summer Class is calling all future scriptwriters, producers, directors, video editors, reporters, news editors, and on-air personalities. Get hands-on training from industry professionals. Learn to shoot with professional cameras, master editing software, and produce your own content from start to finish. This isn't just a class. It's your launch pad. Don't just watch TV, make it. Enroll now. Spaces are limited. Visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng or call the number 0706 777 9435 0706 777 9435. Dominion Television, your channel of choice. Live from the heart of the action.
Welcome back from that short break. The show is still the big story on Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television. I have with me in the studio as we speak Barrister Wale Ojoge Daniel. He's a seasoned public affairs analyst and of course he's a barrister at law. Knows so much about what we are discussing this morning. Barrister Ojoge Daniel, good to have you in the studio.
Yeah, good morning. It's my pleasure to be here. And I say good morning to all
our viewers out there.
All enduring Nigerians.
I like the way you put it anyway. But then what we've been discussing has a lot to do with how much lawmakers take home. Some say it's not just about their basic emoluments. It's about the allowances that makes up the total of what they take home on a monthly basis. And then in juxtaposition to what an average Nigerian earns as minimum wage. If you compare that, that's a huge gap. Where do you place Nigerians in this whole scenario?
Well, if you want me to start on that summary note, I would say Nigeria is a failed state. Because the whole issue we are talking about is even unconstitutional. What is democracy? Democracy is defined as government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
And what are we practicing?
For the people. Not government by the politicians for the politicians. And this is fortified by the provision of the law. That is the fundamental objective and directive principle of state policy as enshrined under Section 14, subsection 2B of 1999 Constitution as amended. Section 1 of the Constitution says this Constitution shall be the ground norm, that is the highest law. That is, anything done outside the Constitution is not right, it's not good. So now what does Section 14.2b of the Constitution chapter 2 says? It says the primary purpose of governance shall be the welfare of the people, security of the people. That is, welfare and security of the people. Now, the so-called politicians go around with our security men to secure their life. They left Nigerians vulnerable. Now, they get jumbo pay and allowances. They give Nigerians what I call debt wages. In civilized climes, you don't talk about minimum wage. You talk about living wage.
Living wage.
That is, I mean, something that
will be enough.
That will be enough to take care of your necessities. Right. So what they offer the civil servants, like the soldiers, do you know that an average soldier, what he earns for 35 years is not up to what a senator takes in a month.
In a month?
Yes. So where do we place Nigeria than to say that, I mean, we are experiencing a dance on the precipice. You know, it's a time bomb. According to J.F. Kennedy, he says, those who make peaceful changes impossible make violent changes inevitable. So invariably, these politicians are not smart. They are not wise. They have forgotten the fact that the only requisite antidote for political stability is good governance, welfare of the people. They think they are cheating the people now. Because a philosopher once, said that the limit of every oppressor is prescribed by the docility of the oppressed or their quantum of resistance. The only thing that doesn't change in life is change itself. This cannot continue. They would say the worst of democratic regime is better than military regime. How reasonable is that? It's just that under military regime, corruption is personalized, but it's more circulated, among the politicians under democratic regime. Democratic, now put it in quote. Because this is not democracy. If it were to be democracy, then it would have been government for the people. With the jumbo pay and the emoluments, it is government for the politicians. Because it's wrong to call them politicians. Oshelu? No. They are politicians. Ojelu? They are here, to suck the treasury dry. When you listen to amounts, the earmark, for renovation alone, you ask yourself, for instance, now in your state now, over 60 billion naira has been earmarked just to renovate the government house where no governor has been living for the past few decades. The health sector has collapsed. The educational sector has collapsed. So if you are to score this regime, just like WAEC now has its marking scheme, the marking scheme to determine whether this regime has passed or not is chapter 2, section 14, subsection 2b, that says the primary purpose of governance shall be the welfare of the people, welfare and security of the people. So where is the welfare? Where is the security in the face of hyperinflation?
Barrister Ojoge Daniel, let me ask you this question. The Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, RMAFC, is tasked with setting salaries for political office holders. Why has it failed to keep lawmakers pay in check?
Yes, Amita Lezioni says politics is a game of the elite and the masses would remain pawn in the game. That is, the beneficiaries of a political status quo will forever be committed to its preservation. So the political elite will not allow anything to change. So my answer to that is lack of political will. They are not going to allow that to change because your oppressor would only, think about having a change of mind the moment you resist, the moment you speak up. But as long as Nigerians remain docile, this crop of politicians will continue to subjugate the welfare and security of the masses.
Now, let's go back in history about how politicians and their emoluments have been adjusted over time. Back in 2003, shortly after the return of civil rule, reports began surfacing about lawmakers receiving allowances that far outweighs the country's minimum wage of just 7,500 as at the time. By 2010, following the Udoji reforms and subsequent adjustments, lawmaker salaries and allowances had ballooned. Senators were said to be earning around 15 million quarterly. By 2015, Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission attempted to review and reduce these packages, but strong resistance from the National Assembly stalled the process. Fast forward to 2018 and 2019, controversies resurfaced when Senator Shehu Sani revealed that senators were taking home about 13.5 million monthly as running cost alone, not to talk of salaries and other perks that comes with it. And just recently, in 2023, at the dawn of the 10th National Assembly, revelations about huge furniture allowances and welcome packages once again triggered public anger, especially given Nigeria's mounting debt profile and poverty statistics. If Nigeria is this poor, as they say, that Nigeria is one of the poorest countries. Now, if Nigeria is one of the most blessed when we talk about resources, why do we have it this way? These are contrasting things. If we have so much, we should be giving so much to the people. But it seems like just a few percentage of Nigerians, estimated to be around 250 million, maybe 1 or 2%, are enjoying the resources that we say we have in Nigeria.
Yeah, there's a mistake you are making, and let me correct this impression. In law, we say, nemo dat quod non habet. What you don't have, you cannot give. There's a presupposition, a presumption in your standpoint. You are presuming that those who are in the corridor of power know something. They know little or next to nothing. Do you know that if you ask, these people simple question about what is the primary purpose of governance, they can't even define it. They can't even refer you to the relevant provision of the law. So this is a set of mediocres.
And
it's a set of opportunists. Look at the crop of people in the House of Assembly in Oyo State, in the House of Assembly in other states, even at the federal level. People, who abandoned the oath of their office and they are fighting over the issue of Natasha. You sit here, you should not sit there. These people do not understand that the transition from the state of nature to statism entails submission of personal autonomy for an umbrella body called government to serve as trustees of the commonwealth of the people and to care for the people, to use the resources for the people. This crop of mediocres feel that they own the resources. Now, I've always called for one thing, demonetization of politics. What do politicians do to earn so much?
How do we demonetize politics in a country like Nigeria?
How do we demonetize politics in a country like Nigeria where the elite will not be interested? I remember the former VP, Oshibajo, once said that Nigeria will not move forward because there is lack of political will to move this nation forward. That is very correct. Not until we demonetize politics. But like rightly said, who is going to do that? We've been calling for the criminalization of corruption as a capital offense. Since it's the very cankerworm, that is actually destroying this country. There is a threefold theory behind the criminal justice system: punitive, reformative, and deterrence. Not until we begin to kill those who steal public funds to serve as deterrence, we are not going to move forward. But who is going to make that law? That law will not see the light of the day if anybody even, chooses to send that kind of bill to the National Assembly.
Nigerian politicians have been proven to be recreating themselves in the political landscape in Nigeria.
Of course.
For example, a former senator, a former governor has successfully placed his son in the assembly. And then it has been happening over and over again. We have seen so many ex-governors whose son are now part of the political landscape. Bello El-Rufai, for example, is in the National Assembly. And a host of others who have been able to do that. Now, if we continue with this trend, is it because the people are not interested in politics? Look at what happened in the by-election in the Ibadan North local government. In a particular polling unit, until the candidates came, nobody came out to vote. And there were people standing by. What is happening?
Yes, that is why I call them captors, not leaders. Because when a crop of people have captured the country, they want to recreate, they want to recycle themselves. They want to turn it into a family thing.
An empire.
An empire. All right. I am beginning to wonder whether the assertion of P.W. Botha of South Africa in 1998, whether it is not correct. Because since 1998, no black African nation has been able to debunk it. What does Botha say? Botha says, black man is a symbol of mediocrity and emotional incompetency. That black men are not created to rule themselves because they lack the requisite wisdom to do so. Aristotle says one thing: take away law and justice, man is the worst of all animals. Now I want to narrow it down. Black man is the worst of all animals in the absence of law and justice. So not until people cry out loud for justice, there is not going to be a change. I have said it and I will repeat it. The beneficiaries of a political status quo are forever committed to its preservation. This crop of mediocres, this crop of politicians will not want anything to change. Are they going to be interested in demonetizing politics so that they start, taking allowances, sitting allowances? Because what do they do for the country? They subject people to penury and poverty. This is terrorism in slow motion.
Okay.
So Canadian government, the court in Canada is right to have tagged some political parties as terrorist organizations. Because what is the effect of terrorism? Death, right?
Right.
So when you don't conform to section 14 subsection 2b of the Constitution, that is the welfare of the people and the security of the people, right? The health sector collapses. What do you have? Genocide in slow motion.
Okay, we will still get to that. But then, what is the role of pressure groups in all of this?
Yes, the role of prayer groups is fundamental. is actually fundamental. When you talk about the roles of civil society, it's fundamental. There is a need for us, to become more involved, right? To become more vibrant and to become more daring. Because the state has what we call the means of coercion, right? They can cage you, they can kill people. But when you watch the documentary of how blacks revolted in South Africa, you come to appreciate the significance and the purport of J.F. Kennedy's assertion that those who make peaceful changes impossible make violent changes inevitable. It's a time bomb. This crop of leaders, right, when they become ill, they travel abroad. Is it not, shameful that our former president died abroad and he was president for 8 years and he couldn't do anything to fix the health sector? Well, I just said it. One of the problems of this nation is the 1999 Constitution. Because the 1999 Constitution says that you don't even need to pass SCUSAT to become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Who does that? In China, you need to be an expert to belong to the ruling elite. Nemo dat quo non habet. What you don't have, you cannot give. So that provision of the law encourages mediocrity over meritocracy.
Barrister Wale Ojogeda, one of these days you will be here to talk more about this particular topic.
It will be my pleasure.
But then, lastly, in just 1 minute, what policies do you think should be brought on board to nip these kind of worm in the bud?
Well, I will encourage activism. Just like I have summarized it, that the beneficiaries of a political status quo will never allow that status quo to change. Like Amita Letsioni has said, politics is a game of the elite. Masses will remain a pawn. So I will encourage activism for people to speak up. In articulation, they say, breeds misfortune. Highly sorrow. Not until people begin to clamor for their rights. As enshrined in chapter 2 of the Constitution, section 14. No, when you read the whole of chapter 2 of the Constitution, you come to appreciate even the role of media, the role of civil societies, that we are enjoined to play a very fundamental role to shape and reshape, the society. For now, Nigeria is in a state of anomy, right? What we are seeing in Nigeria is genocide in slow motion.
Thank you, Barrister Wale Ojogeda, for being on the show this morning.
It's my pleasure.
We are going to have a more in-depth analysis about this particular topic some other day. Thank you for joining us in the studio.
It's my pleasure.
All right, well, there you have it. Another deep dive into the heart of Nigeria's governance dilemma. The issue of jumbo pay for lawmakers is more than just a number of debates. It's about priorities, fairness, and the kind of future we want for this nation. As Nigerians continue to call for accountability and reform, one thing remains clear: the cost of governance must reflect the realities of the people. The big question is, will the political class listen? The big story, that's the big story for today. A big thank you to my guest, Barrister Wale Ojogeda, of course, Seun Oluwole, for joining us, for sharing their insight to you, our viewers out there. We say thank you for staying with us. Samson Balogun is my name. You are still watching Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television. Stay with us. There's more ahead. We'll be back.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live? Like never before. Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
All right, welcome back from that short break. The show is still Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television, your channel of choice, where inspiration meets entertainment. Do well to link up with us on all socials, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. You can also watch us live on our website, www.dominion.org.ng. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Dominion Broadcast. Watch us live. Of course, drop your comment there. We'll surely take them. As there with me in the studio this morning, Yemi Adelakun, with whom we'll be making sense of Trend Watch this morning.
Definitely, I'm glad to be back here this morning.
It's an interesting one.
Definitely.
Very interesting.
Of course, we have a story before us that says the APC alleged that Governor Adeleke sneaked out of the state more than a month ago, only for it to be revealed later that his trip was primarily to prepare for the wedding of his nephew, popular musician David Adeleke, known as Davido. So, and then he said some certain things. He said that the Osun State chapter of the All Progressives Congress lambasted Governor Ademola, for what he described as his disgraceful carriage abroad, and of course accusing him of wasting state resources on frivolous foreign trips while neglecting governance at home. What do you make of that, Bele?
Well, I think it is very important for governors to travel sometimes to look for investors, but you don't necessarily have to travel to look for investors, actually, because what you do in terms of provision of infrastructure in your home state, in terms of how you have provided security, enabling environment for businesses to thrive, will actually draw investors to your state. So you don't really have to be out there, but then sometimes it is necessary to finalize talks and see, what exactly can we do together. But this is a very big claim, it's a bold one, to say he actually traveled just because of the wedding. He only, hid under the guise of, going to look for investors. I think only it's a matter of time before they know that this is just about the wedding and not because of, investors. And it's only a matter of time to know it is because of the investors and not because of the wedding. So at least when you travel, sometimes you release, some governors do come and say, well, this is a press statement, we travel to so-so place, we met with so-so group of people, and they are willing to come to this, and as a state that will be hosting them, we are giving them an expanse of land to, start their firm, start whatever it is they want to do. So these are things a state is should known for, bringing investors on board, because that's the only way you can actually, the government can now actually provide all the jobs for the people. So that's the only way you can provide jobs, by providing enabling environments for companies that will provide jobs for your people. At least indirectly, you have provided jobs. And I think some states are doing it. And I feel that Adeleke should also emulate this and actually do the same. I don't want to say, oh, he was there for the wedding, and I don't want to say he wasn't there for the wedding, but at least he attended the wedding, which is quite important. They are relatives. He could have actually gone there and say, oh, I'm traveling for the wedding, and nothing will stop it. But the truth is, I think the APC in Osun State, they are trying to play the opposition politics, which is normal. When they see a lacuna, a loophole to plug into to actually get back at the governor, that's exactly what they are doing. I think that presented itself. But many a times, we just hope that governors will come out and say, look, this is exactly what I'm going to do. And when they return, they are giving the people the accurate feedback. That I've been to so-so place. Accountability is key. I've been to so-so place, and this is what I came back with. And within the number of years, maybe 2-3 years, they will be settling down in Osun State, starting a company that will employ about 2,000 or 3,000 people. That's the good news the people of Osun wants to hear. Kudos to the APC in Osun State. They are playing the opposition politics, which is normal. And I just hope that they will be constructive about it, not, take things personal.
Okay, as for me, I feel like, trying to say because they traveled about a month to the wedding, was solely for the wedding. He's not even the groom. I'm not sure Davido left Nigeria 1 month to his wedding. So why would you say that the governor left Nigeria for the preparation of the wedding?
That would be so untrue.
I don't agree with that. Yeah, so he has said he went there, to attract investors. You might not believe him. But then I believe, this is the point where Adeleke should show workings.
Right.
After that,
make announcements.
Come out to say, okay, this was what we were able to achieve. So look at what APC is coming out to say. The president is not even in the country. I know that's the federal level. But then he is going to, I think he's in Japan currently, he will touch down in Brazil. And he came back from Brazil not quite long. So why is APC trying to say that, Adeleke left Osun State about a month ago just to prepare for the wedding of his brother?
That would be really harsh on the government.
I don't agree with that totally.
I also don't want to agree with it. If it is so, I think the governor should actually look into, investing the taxpayers' money in Osun State wisely. If it was actually there for the wedding, I mean that's too long. 1 month. That's the time frame is just too long.
I don't agree with that.
Leaving your state ungoverned for 1 month, I think that is way too much. But the truth is, I do not want to believe he was there solely because of the
Definitely.
wedding.
And so even if he left there, like a month to the wedding, I'm very sure he must have put some things in place. So he cannot just leave the state without...
The state has a structure.
Definitely. So I don't agree with that, but I agree with some of the things that APC has said that, he sacked some teachers without, putting in replacement and then talk about some amount of money. That one, of course, okay, they can look into that. And so in as much as they want to play the opposition, part in the state, there are some things that are extreme. I mean, how would you say he left the country and left
for a wedding?
It's not even the groom. Even Davido will not leave a month to his wedding. Really.
Okay, we have to go on the show this morning. Thank you for being a part of the show so far. And of course, we do hope that you join us again tomorrow for another interesting edition of Daybreak Library here on Dominion Television. Every morning is a fresh start and a new chapter waiting to be written. Until tomorrow, when we shall be joining us again on this show, Samson Balogun is mine. I say keep being good out there, keep being safe. Bye for now.
Well, thank you for being a part of the program. Do well to join us same time tomorrow. And before I go, understand that every day is a gift. Today is another day to get it right. My name is Oluwayemi Adelaku. I'm saying good morning.